Hello everyone, now we're going to jump right into lesson number 6, the solution, your painkiller silo landing pages. For those of you who are just joining us, this is a module from the course called Video Website Silo Architecture, the Ultimate Conversion and Persuasion Architecture. Now, those of you who are taking the course, you should have already taken the previous module, gone through the previous module where we talked about the index page, and I gave you several types of videos that are optimal for the index page. And this actually makes it much easier to create your video silo landing pages. Depending upon the size of your site or how you're organizing the silo structures, I recommend that your product or your invention, your innovation, be the focus of your silo landing pages, and that when you use Domain Web Studio and Kraken software to research the keyword clusters and your keyword DNA, that it's being wrapped around your frequently asked questions and your should ask questions that as a Network Empire member, you should have already gone through in the small business niche domination track. And you can use software like our Quora extractor called the Painkiller Finder and other things like that to find the ultimate commonly frequently asked questions around your product. Okay? So in this particular layout, I'm going to go ahead and go through the different tips that I use that you might want to think about as a checklist for your silo landing page. The silo landing page video should be congruent with the desired transaction. So what I'm going to be showing you in this lesson are oversight methods that you can use to make sure that you don't do things that are commonly left out with clients that I have dealt with and students. So don't forget what you're selling. This is really going to come up when you're creating a schedule on our last module, module 12, when we move over to talking about your blog. And I tell my students and clients to begin thinking about their blog as a broadcasting station rather than a publishing platform. Sure, it's a publishing platform, but there's something about imagining that you have a television studio or a video studio that gets people more on top of things. Because if they adhere to a schedule and you know you have a video production and you're actually communicating your message, it's more live, especially when we get to the RSS marketing module coming up, and you know you have a lot of reach. You know you have a lot of penetration into the market. It's a little bit more exciting, and so your company starts to get momentum. And video has a way of humanizing and generating excitement when it comes to your video. But one of the big things I've noticed is, I don't know what it is, and I'm going to go ahead and really focus on that. The silo landing page needs to be congruent with some sort of product or solution. A lot of bloggers will spend 80% of the time talking about solutions and helping people out with things that really are not related to how they're going to make money. And that's great if you want to help people. A lot of social activists who have blogs do this. They will rant and rave about things and they want to create social change, but they do it 80% of the time, and 20% of the time they remind people that they have stuff for sale, and then they wonder why they go broke. So this is one of the things that you really have to be aware of. Okay? And I try to explain to my students how I do it. I never forget that there is a desired transaction for any video that I'm doing. And part of what I do is I remember when I'm making a video or when I'm having a video made for me, throughout the entire writing of the script or the creation of it, I'm aware the whole time where this video is going to go. Even back on, even over on the blog, which we're kind of talking about the website silo architecture now, which you can also use as a blog, but I'm talking about your, if you have a brochure site, which is your website silo landing site, so we're talking about here, it's going to be permanent. A lot of these articles are going to be permanent. They're going to be on pages even if you're on a blog. That means they need to be evergreen. You need to be really addressing what it is that you're selling as even 10 times more important, that you're congruent, okay, with the desired transaction. Blogging is a little weird because blogs can happen anywhere from 2 to 5 times a week, or 1 if you're not doing a lot of blogging. And people can kind of spontaneously come up with ideas that are driven by their passion. And the problem with that is that if they, again, stick to the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, make sure that your content and your video is congruent with the desired transaction. You can still provide amazing information, but if you've got 5 potential painkiller articles that you pull out of Domain Web Studio or Kraken that are related to your landing page, pick the one from the keyword tools that are most related to your product. See, Kraken's not, and Domain Web Studio is not going to tell you if that keyword is related to your product or not. It will tell you if that keyword is profitable, the total search market value, the return on investment, all this crazy data. But it can't say, yo, Russell, this is totally related to the Google++ course, or this is really related to the Pain Finder extractor software. In other words, you have to decide if your solution, your product, or your service or your invention is congruent with the content that's going to be on that video. Okay, I stop on this one because it's very important. It's a huge sinkhole. There's a huge trap door with this one. If you miss what I'm saying here, you're going to fall right through that trap door, into the bottomless pit, and you're going to wonder why you're not getting any conversions on your site. Okay, so again, this is the number one oversight, you guys. The number one. Folks forget to align information with desired transaction. They forget calls to action at the back of videos. I forget it all the time, and I still come back and try to fix it. Okay. They also forget to ask for the sale, the email, the vote, the like, etc. Remember, people want to be led. You have to ask them for it. Go back to the bonus section where I talk about the persuasion mastery architecture comparison chart. Go back to that chart and start looking through it. You got to tell them. It's always almost one of the common denominators of all those amazing masters of persuasion is that all of them are telling them, what are you selling? What does it cost? What's in it for me? What are they selling? What does it cost? What's in it for me? And they're trying to persuade me that I should believe them. Okay. All those persuasion methods have a call to action. Okay, so don't forget that. I know it seems obvious for some of you, but don't forget it. Okay, so here's another thing. The silo video, here's some old clients of mine and friends. This is northlineexpress.com, great site. You should buy all your home and garden stuff from them. They're really a great company. Their support is second to none, so I'm giving them a shameless plug here. We've spent a lot of time working on their site. I've learned from other test case studies that have come in from around the web that for the most part, a video on a category page or a silo landing page is a good idea. These guys haven't gotten around to it yet. It might be in the hopper. The point is that they do great videos. And I'm going to show you some more of their videos later on in this presentation that really match the kind of videos that you really need to be doing. But I believe that, and I'm going to show you why in a couple of other tips here, that a video on their silo landing page introducing your audience to the category is very, very important. Glenn Livingston has been testing this on a lot of websites, and this is called Just For Me, the Just For Me effect. When you're speaking to somebody just about that master category, and nobody can speak to this category as good as Rob and Joe, okay, and they know this stuff inside and out. I would never buy a wood stove unless I bought it from them, because I knew all the support would be there. But it would make it feel more warm for me if I was giving this master overview from them about how they chose, how they choose these categories before I dig in to these giant SKU numbers that they have. They have all kinds of stuff here. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. That's where I would want you to add, is right there on the silo landing page. So the reason for this is that e-commerce site needs silo category overview videos. Okay, like I showed you here. And the reason for this, let me see if I got the reason here. This promotes something called hyperrelevancy by Dr. Glenn Livingston. Okay, hyperrelevancy, his work on hyperrelevancy is really, really interesting, and there's more than just video that's an aspect to it. But video is something that can be really, really personalized, and the type of video you do on a silo landing page really matters. Okay, covering those categories. Again, on the previous video, in the previous module, I told you the kind of videos that you can do. Those amateur or even professional, expert amateur videos, I mean, you might be an expert, but the quality is amateur. That's completely fine. It's better than having nothing, because I want to hear about those categories. I want to experience what you know. And what he calls hyperrelevance, or just for me, is really about talking to me. If you've got a giant e-commerce site and you've got thousands of products and services, and you give me just the kids' rainy boots, rainy day section, that's just for me. That's addressing my particular pain, my particular category, my particular silo, right then and there. And then we're going to get into why this picture is so good of the child actually splashing in the water rather than just having a shot of the shoes. Okay, hopefully you'll know the reason why, because it shows the end result. But videos that show the end result are even better. Okay, so that's the main reason. This is called the Just For Me approach by Dr. Glenn Livingston. I love that name because it really is from the perspective of the visitor. Remember how one of our masters of persuasion said that your product is actually an obstacle until you give that client or prospect the end result? That's absolutely true. So video can be used to target Just For Me topics. Okay, we're going to get onto that in the next tip. And that's why the silo landing page is so important, because even in big e-commerce sites, that category page is where the Just For Me, that's what's going to break down somebody coming to your site for rainy day stuff versus coming for a sweater. Okay. There's another thing that Livingston talks about, and I have a lot of other mentors and test studies on my own. Lifestyle pictures do convert higher. And lifestyle videos are the same way. This is from Dr. Glenn Livingston's work, which show that lifestyle pictures which show produce in use and providing the ultimate end benefit seem to provide e-commerce sites a bump when incorporated into item detail views. Okay, he's looked on a lot of sites. I'm familiar with this as well. What we mean by this is don't just show the coat hanging on the rack. You know, Land's End used to do a lot of catalog stuff when I worked there in the 90s, where in the early 2000s, where there was just product sitting there. It's a lot better to have some of these things in show. Sometimes you do need to lay the product out when it comes to dimension, color, there's times. But also showing videos in context, which we're going to show you. Northline Express, the guys I just shared with you, do this really well. We're going to show you some examples of that. Okay, let me see. So we tested lifestyle product and use images over product shots, and it worked really well. So that's the thing that I just showed you. Okay, let me go. If a product picture paints 1,000 words, a product video is going to paint 1,000,000 words. That's the main takeaway on this. In fact, I'm going to give this a pin. Put that at pin that to the top up here, because this is really key. Here is the Northline Express folks, and this is Robert Cochran. And this is a video that's got 41,000 views called the Skeeter Vac Mosquito Trap. I would suggest that you click on this and actually watch it. This is exactly how you want to do product reviews. Okay, don't just show the product. I mean, this is okay. They start with it. But what's happening here is Robert is actually showing us how to use this thing. Okay, this thing is responsible, I'm quite sure, for a significant percentage of sales. Robert has this at his home. He owns Northline Express, but he has this at his home, and he uses it, and I want to buy one. I used to joke with them. He gives you the result, and here's the result. He actually said it just now. And here's the result of the use of the Skeeter Vac. He actually shows you. This is a great video. This is exactly what I want you to do. Okay? So if a product picture paints 1,000 words, product picture how to, then a product video paints 1,000,000 words. Okay? So don't forget that. Tip 4. This is going to be use a silo finder tool like Domain Web Studio and Kraken and the last keyword tool, which are quickly becoming one thing at the time of this video in 2013. To assure profitability of the verbiage, painkiller questions, and on-page keywords that you already should have come to using the painkiller article method and other things that we provided you with. Okay. The reason that you want to use a tool, and you can do it without. We have a do-it-yourself without our product course called Do-It-Yourself Blog Silo Building with free plugins. You can do that. But if you want to be serious, you're going to need a technology because it's almost impossible. I've tried it. It's almost impossible to collect your semantic net properly around your product. Because once you've chosen the silo categories based on painkiller and products and services, you have your big idea on your index page. There's a bunch of different ways to talk about each one of these products and the keywords and FAQs, frequently asked questions, and the frequently asked question keywords, and then the should ask question keywords, okay, which you should have already learned all about this. If you haven't learned this, please do go back to the niche domination course inside the Network Empire members area. Okay, but the silo finder tool like Domain Web Studio and Kraken is very, very helpful, and here's the reason why. Domain Web Studio includes your keyword DNA braid with a synonym and all. Okay, I actually gave you a link right on here so you can talk about your keyword DNA so you can research it if you don't know how to do that. It's so automated. It takes me hundreds of hours to do it manually. It just takes a few minutes in Domain Web Studio. Because there are usually dozens of ways to say the same thing in many different ways. Okay, there's more than one word or even group of words to talk about your product, or more importantly, to talk about the pain that people are actually typing in the search engines when they end up finding you on that page, that silo landing page. Remember, the silo landing page is the page that we're targeting for ranking, using your semantic net, your keyword DNA, and your silo keywords. All that is really fancy schmancy stuff. That just simply means all the words that you're going to use in the video and all the words that people are going to type in to try to solve that pain. And hopefully you've got them all covered in the search engines, right? Okay, it's a long way around to describe that, but it's quite a data set to remember all the keywords, all right, and put them all in there. And that's what Domain Web Studio and ThemeZoom Kraken does for you. So the website that says the same, most profitable thing in the most number of ways, wins the search engine game. Okay, if you look around and you go to even a plain old-fashioned thesaurus, not even using our software, and you start looking up keywords around the mosquito vac, for example, like that video I just showed you, and see if there's 5 or 6 different ways to say the word mosquito vac, mosquito trap, kill mosquitoes, this and that, you'll find that the same company is almost never ranked in the top 3 for all 4 or 5 of those keywords. I literally built Domain Web Studio, Kraken, and TLKT to make sure that doesn't happen to you. And that's where you need a computer. You need human beings to do these videos, but you need a computer to memorize all those keywords, all right? And that's what we do with our software, pretty much in a nutshell. Okay, so review website silo architecture module for more clarity, okay? Just make sure you've gone through that. I believe that's module 2, I think. Okay, you can just go back to that module. And in summary, software allows you to easily add your entire keyword DNA of the Domain Web Studio software that we build. As far as I know, there's nothing else out there that does it. There's other guys that have tried, and they're no longer in business because it's a very educational process in educating people how to use it. And now we've simplified it to its easiest common denominator on both the light version of Domain Web Studio and the advanced version, and I'm really excited about it because even an average person can use it. So software allows you to easily add your entire keyword DNA and your epic keyword DNA, which is very hard to keep track of by hand. That's the main takeaway from this module. So let's back up through these again. Tip 4 was use the silo finder tools like Domain Web Studio and Kraken, the last keyword tool available at networkempire.com. You can get a membership package with or without our software, including our dozens of courses that are probably some of the best in the world on this topic. Tip 3 is lifestyle picture increases conversion thousands of %. Videos increase even more in most industries. Don't forget to show lifestyle videos, show the product in use that indicates the end result. Don't confuse people like the Super Bowl halftime thing where you have something really cool going on. Don't upstage the product. For me, even this shot in Dr. Glenn Livingston's manual is a little upstaging. I don't mind children hanging around each other, but I'd rather see them separately so you can see both jackets on them. Okay, so consider all those things. Consider the end result, what a mom's looking for. Tip 2, silo videos should cover the top level concepts about your silo theme. Remember, you've already done in the previous module your index landing page. Your big idea is already covered, why you built the company, or if it was Land's End, for example, before the owners finally sold it. His big thing was radical evangelistic support. You can return it even if it's got a stencil in it. You can return it even if it's torn to shreds. We don't care. Radical return policy. When Sears bought it, it was gone. That would be something that he should put on his index page, but not really his silo landing page video. The silo landing page video needs to cover just for me specifically about the category that I'm in. You can still have your guarantee, okay, like Rob and Joe have up in the upper the top of this thing. You can still have those things in the golden frame, but the video needs to address the products, the services, and the end results, and the expertise, and all the other things we covered in the previous module about what makes a great video format. I use the combo method. And really create a compelling reason, and somebody's going to feel when they land on this silo landing page that it's just for them. To me, this page doesn't quite yet convey that. I mean, I would like more of a welcome to this category. It takes a little extra effort, but it's really important. Tip 1 is the silo landing page video should be congruent with desired action. Okay? What the heck are you selling? Don't forget that. When you're talking, don't forget. Even when Robert made his Skeeter vac thing, he knew what he was selling. He was selling the Skeeter vac. When you're doing product videos, it's a little hard to forget what you're selling. But sometimes when you're selling abstracts, especially when you're selling consulting or you're a coach, you're going to forget what you're selling, and you're going to offer a bunch of free advice, and you're going to forget interesting but incomplete. Okay? Don't forget that. Interesting but incomplete. Lesson 6, the solution. This is what this is, your painkiller silo landing pages. All right, go through some of the tasks inside this module. If you're not a part of this membership yet, please do visit us at networkempire.com to sign up. And when you're done with this module and you feel like you understand what you want your silo landing pages to look like, then go ahead and move on to the supporting video article module.